Kia ora. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for that epic intro, Ricky Lee, and thanks for inviting us today. You can see Connie's putting on our beautiful slides that she's made for us. We're going to take turns presenting today, and I'm up first. Ko Tania Radford, aho, he Pākehā me he tangata tiriti, aho. I'm the Program Lead Early Years in the National Health Promotion Team of the National Public Health Service. We're a small and perfectly formed team of three. We have a combo of design and public health backgrounds. And we've been a team together just over a year. Next slide. Little bit of a brief context and background to our team and use of Niho Taniwha. We've been drawing on Niho Taniwha for a number of years. Deep gratitude to the lab and our friends from the Southern Initiative who have coached and supported us along the way. We've been very lucky and grateful to have your support. Up until 2025, our team was looking after an early years community innovation fund. So this was a maternal and PRP wellbeing program characterised around high trust commissioning and applied te tiriti practice. With the change of government and the changes in Te Whatu order structurally, we shifted from being an independent HBA or Te Herenga Hauora team into a national central team as part of the new National Public Health Service, and had quite a shift in our role and team's purpose to being a national team that supports regionally and locally led activity through the regional offices. And the other huge change was that all our team's effort and putia and investment was shifted towards working on the government's immunisation health target, which the government had established to respond to continually falling immunisation rates. We've found working on the health target a little bit of a double-edged sword. The health target has been cool in that it's focused energy and drive on progress and has been an awesome opportunity to focus attention on the early years space. I guess some things that make working on a health target difficult is that by definition, a target can be deficit framed and has a tendency to reduce complex issues into siloed responses and efforts. Also, they come with a lot of ministerial scrutiny and urgency, which brings pressure and challenge to our day-to-day work. Last year, following a lot of organisational change, we started working with our beautiful regional teams to implement a Childhood IMS community-led action fund, which saw 43 locations activated with different programs standing up to deliver community-based mahi focused on building trust and confidence. Through all this change and all this busyness, the Niho Taniwha framework has helped us all the way. It's supported us in our approach to building a nationwide network and helped everyone to see and locate themselves in that system, and that everyone has different contributions to make to a bigger picture and effort. And it's helped us streamline our learnings towards shared goals across the country, and increasingly, it's a work in progress, ensure that our responses are informed and oriented around community needs and aspirations, as well as a government-driven target. In the last year, building connections with our new regional colleagues has been the absolute favourite thing of our team. We always get off our ACO sessions that we've had with our regions and immediately ring one another and just go, oh my God, we love our regional colleagues. Lots of them are online today, and I'm not just greasing you guys up. Honestly, you're our favourite thing about our jobs at the moment, because your connections, your knowledge and your commitment into your communities is it's really inspiring, and it's a joy to be around. And this is what Niho Taniwha is about for me. It's around weaving the relationships through regional and national teams and supporting one another, but ultimately reorienting to be more grounded in place. As Ricky Lee said, today we're going to talk about Niho Taniwha and especially the Whāriki or the foundation, and share with some examples and challenges in our work at the moment. The online Niho Taniwha guide says that within Niho Taniwha, the whāriki symbolizes the intentional weaving of values, worldviews, and evidence to ground teams in a shared purpose and provide strong foundation for practice. And for us, the exploration and articulation of a whāriki has developed over time, and I will say it's still a work in progress. Over the last couple of years, as we've morphed and changed from an early years mahi to this immunisation mahi, we've been joining up with lots of colleagues from different backgrounds, so especially comms, marketing, more clinical folk, and our regional teams. So it's been about like building our foundation together, which is, yeah, as I said, a work in progress. Next slide. Preparing for this presentation and the invite to do so was a really awesome opportunity to be reflective about the whāriki, and we took some time to critique and think about how we might strengthen our foundation. Today, me and the team are going to share some current examples and challenges across the three elements of tikanga, values, and evidence. I'm talking about the tikanga element of Niho Taniwha. Again, the guide online of the Niho Taniwha toolkit says or prompts teams to ask what tikanga Māori needs to be upheld within your mahi to honour manawa whenua and local practices. We had some recent conversations with Ricky Lee where we really teased this out, and we're talking about how the tikanga of Niho Taniwha needs to be grounded and placed. It's not just about bringing your own tikanga, but rather drawing in and honouring tikanga of place. This felt somewhat challenging, or work that needed consideration for us and the way that we work and the current work that we're doing. We're trying to build connections and ways of working with the established four regions. So Te Whatu has been broken into four large chunks of the country, and the way that we're being asked to work with people brings together teams from a really wide geography. So we can see lots of our colleagues online from Te Manawataki region, and Te Manawataki spans Taranaki, Waikato, and Tairāwhiti. And so we're bringing those people all together into online forums. And I guess that what I'm sharing is that brings challenges in terms of developing tikanga and ways of working. We're no longer allowed to travel, so all our forums are online, which is sometimes really fun, but brings its own challenges. Also, we're trying to build connections and build tikanga and ways of working with colleagues who are really busy, really stressed, and often still hurting after a really prolonged and poorly handled restructure. Recently, we've been using more and more the Niho Taniwha karakia that was used up front of our session today. We've found it really helps to focus and guide our approaches in ACOR sessions, but also in national planning sessions. As a team, we find it really centering and anchoring, and it helps to set the scene for intent and intentions of coming together. Personally, I find it helps to whakarite or prepare myself for hui or ACOR sessions that we're going into, and we've noticed it invites people into a reflective space. We've had really lovely feedback following ACOR sessions from participants who have told us specifically that they really appreciate the use of that karakia, and that they've found it brings consistency and signals the intention and commitment to working together. I'm going to pass to my friend Connie now, who's going to talk more about the values and how we try to imbue those into the way we work. Over to you, Connie.
Thanks, Tanya. Kia ora koutou, ko Connie Field, tōku ingoa, ko te Atiawa Te Iwi no Taranaki Aho, but I'm based in Pōneke here in the heart now. I'm going to talk a bit about the core values of our team and how that turns up in our mahi. Feel very lucky to work in a team that's all on board with being really values-led. And we have partnered with a learning partner, Tato, who are also very values-led, which has been really helpful. They have background in research, design, evaluation, facilitation, and have guided us to build in activities to our learning system that supports those values. So on the right here, you'll see a list of values that I'm going to talk about. So the first one is whanaungatanga. We really value creating a sense of community, connection, and building our relationships. We feel it's really important to our mahi. And the way that shows up in our learning system is always having a whanaungatanga activity in our ako sessions. So on the screen, you'll see a screenshot of a Dia Moko activity. This was shared with us by Tato. And in the online space on the whiteboard, everyone will have a postcard which is addressed to their moko in 100 years. And the first activity we do is get them to fill out this card and tell their moko about how they hope their work today shapes the future for them. And then when they introduce themselves, they can also talk to their answers in their Dia Moko activity card. This helps us to understand them a bit more, create a bit more connection in the sessions, and we know what they care about and also ties it to what we're talking about during the session. The next value or set of values is curiosity, openness, and respect. As a team, we think that everything we hear is an opportunity to understand better and do our best to approach with the assumption that everything is shared with best intentions. We've noticed that this creates a space where people feel more comfortable to share. George from our learning partner Tato has said to us recently that the energy that you bring is the energy that people feel comfortable to copy, and that really resonated with the team. This shows up in our learning system by asking curious questions as facilitators, or when we debrief as a team, we reflect on what we heard and think, but also reflect with curiosity on the invisible too, the things we felt, the things we observed, the vibes of the session too. The next value is manaakitanga. So we want to look after the people in our learning system and the people we interact with. So we design fun, interactive, inclusive sessions that prioritize people's well-being. This shows up in ways like Tanya just talked about, starting the sessions really intentionally with karakia and waiata to bring people into a space where they feel a bit more tau. And when we're in the activities, we do our best to cater to different sharing styles and murals. So you'll see a screenshot on the slide here. This is a breakout room activity that we run with in one of the ako sessions, and we put people in breakout rooms with 1 or 2 activities and a facilitator. So if people want to jump in and feel more comfortable just adding notes themselves, maybe being more anonymous with their contributions, then that's open for them to do that. Or if people feel more comfortable having a kōrero and don't really want to interact with the online whiteboard space, then that's fine too. We make sure there's facilitators in the room who can guide those conversations and take notes. And we also try to make it really fun, look nice. We ran a in-person wānanga last week, and stickers were the win. It made things quite fun. The next value is kotahitanga. So we really value the different skills and life experiences we all bring and see that as a strength. We intentionally address power imbalances and work towards creating spaces without hierarchy. And we find that collaborating together will always result in a better outcome, and it's way more fun. The screenshot here, it looks like a bit of a mess. You don't need to see the detail, but it's more to show you how we do some collective brainstorming and thinking. And this was the beginning of our most recent round of insights. And in our mahi, we all kind of jump in and add stuff and use spaces that enhance that collaboration. And then this is refined down and down and down until we have more clear insights, and we draw on each other's skill sets. So we've got the big picture thinkers, we've got the attention to detail people, we've got different life experiences as well, and the collaborative writing is really fun. And the last set of values that I wanted to talk to is responsibility, integrity, and courage. So we do our best to hold ourselves to account as guardians of the taonga that communities share with us, and we tell the truth even when it's hard. How this shows up in our mahi is we prioritize two-way accountability and feedback. So just as the information flows up the niho, we're intentional with making sure it flows back down as well. As we hear insights and we gather them and we refine them, we then make sure to share them back with the people who shared them with us to check, is this making sense? This is what we heard and how we interpreted it, but does this feel right to you? We do our best to construct insights and refine insights that are true to the whānau voice that was shared with us, but are crafted in ways that have the best chance of influence. We want to make it so leaders can relate, understand, and see relevance to our work, but they don't shy away from the reality that whānau have shared. We have a few live challenges of this at the moment, but we've found that it's helpful to crowdsource this. So when we are feeding back to the people who shared with us, to see if those insights make sense, we're also asking them, are these too soft? Are these too direct? To get their take on it as well. And that's me. Over to you, Emily.
Thanks, Connie. I will just start by introducing myself a little bit to the group. Ko au, he Pākehā hou. I whānau mai au I Kirikiriroa. I tupu aki au I Murihiku, engari I noho ana au ki Tāmaki Makaurau. I've sort of been all over the country. I also just want to shout out quickly to the regional peeps that we're working with. It's really cool to see you online. Really exciting. I am going to be talking about the evidence part of the whāriki. Within the practice of Niho Taniwha, we're working really hard to build collective understanding of what constitutes as evidence and how we use it. So having a strong understanding and being grounded in the evidence within the whāriki provides the solid foundation for our team about decision making and our ways of working together, not only within our small team but across the system with where we're using the Niho. There's a couple of aspects to this. The first is how we define evidence, and so Niho Taniwha has really provided opportunity and the mechanism, I guess, the framework to upweight diverse sources of evidence across the system, especially community voice and experiences. In a ako session a while back, we asked our colleagues that work in the regions what evidence they drew on, and community voice was the most common response for them. So this is telling us that, upweighting this within the wider system is really important. But at the moment, a challenge that we're balancing is what is considered evidence with more, I guess, written academic literature being used quite a lot. Through the Niho Taniwha teams encouraging and holding the space for those working around us to engage regularly with what we're hearing and what we're seeing through the Niho. And doing this and being grounded in the evidence that we're hearing within our whāriki is also how we as a team can better uphold our obligations to Te Tiriti as well, considering that we're working within a Crown agency, and that is a really important aspect of our mahi. The second aspect of evidence within the whāriki is how we process information. And so, as Connie said, we've been working with Tātou, and over that time, we've really come to appreciate the role of us as processors, working with and sitting with the evidence over time, and how that works, how that comes together to build the collective understanding. So through the Niho, we've adopted different ways of processing and gathering evidence as we go through ako sessions and processing it alongside everyone that sits. Processing it alongside evidence that sits with us from previous roles we've had in our careers, or just previous evidence that's been gathered within the early years space and everything that is connected to the early years space. With Tātou's guidance and expertise, we've sat with and processed huge amount of information to develop deep understanding of the system we're in, and then from there it's about holding the space to do that collectively across the Niho with everyone else. We've also, I think this links back into what Tanya and Connie have been talking about as well, but consistently cross-checking back with those who've worked with us in ako sessions to ensure that as we're building the evidence, it is done collectively and we're bringing everyone along on the journey. It's different to how, I guess, the big we in a government or in a Crown agency would usually work. And the way that our team likes to think of it is adopting anti-shelvings. A lot of reports in the past that we've done or that has been done in the different ways of evaluating and gathering evidence are, I guess, shelved, and it's really hard to do the so what and move on to actually making action from them. So through the Niho Taniwha and gathering our evidence collectively and building it collectively, our dream state would be that everyone working in the system would be drawing on the best available evidence from a variety of sources to make decisions and inform work programs. And that's where I am going to leave it. I will pass back to Ricky Lee.